At this year's Pyeongchang Peace Forum, they have an event in the metaverse celebrating young people and the work they're doing to foster peace around the world. They're optimistic about the prospect for peace, both in Korea and in other countries that have been fraught with tension around the globe. So many incredible participants, and we're about to talk to a few of them now. We'll get a little more dressed up and talk to them after this event. Tell me about the award ceremony last night where you received, in the metaverse, accolades for all the work you've been doing.
It was a very interesting experience, and it was my first time as well using Metaverse, and it was completely different. It felt like being in a video game because we all had our own avatars and everything.
It was very new for me. I never experienced something related to the metaverse before, but it was really good to know like there are other ways to connect.
I really enjoyed the background and the landscape.
I can see sea, trains, clear sky, and many people sit and clapping.
Even though I'm currently sitting in Pakistan, it did feel as though I was situated in Pyeongchang.
You're right. Even though all of you were from around the world, it felt like there was camaraderie and recognition for all the work you did. One of the things that's so interesting is that the metaverse really might help us see beyond our borders. That it shrinks the world and allows people to feel like they're in the same space, even if they're divided by border walls and fences. And I think it's a powerful concept, and it's brought to life here at the DMZ International Peace Zone.
But just in case people don't know what it is, the DMZ stands for the Demilitarized Zone, which is the frontier between South Korea and North Korea. And this establishment was to actually be demilitarized, but actually is one of the most militarized zones in the world. It's actually also like a very strong place to make these peace efforts as well, and to go through talks to reunification, because that's actually something that the both governments, even though they are so different by so many means, they try to make.
Can you talk about why it's important for younger generations, especially millennials, to get involved in the conversation around?
I really believe that we, the youth, have newer resources at our disposal, which perhaps our predecessors didn't have in terms of technology, that we can use to create awareness on such topics.
Conflict and war, it is not happening only in certain parts of the world. There are a lot of escalating geopolitical tensions, and they are replicated all around the world. So it's happening in Korea. It's actually happening in Mexico as well, but not between another government. Here in Mexico, we're struggling with narcos and cartels.
You know, these regional conflicts are no longer regional anymore. You know, we can't underestimate the impact of conflict that is happening on one side of the world, because its repercussions and consequences will be felt on the other side of the globe. So I think at the end of the day, the youth are not a homogenous group, but as long as we act collectively, I think we can make a huge difference in future.
And then talk more about how social media is shaping young people's involvement in these political conflicts, and how can it be leveraged to kind of further unite rather than divide?
You know, we've seen in the past several years how social media has been used by the youth to promote social change for good. Social movements with regards to climate change, for example, the Youth for Future protests. We've seen it with regards to the Black Lives Matter movement, the violence in Myanmar, what's happening right now in Ukraine. So I think, you know, we the youth as a generation have become extremely adept at utilizing the lingo of social media, at utilizing all the different forms of communication we have at our hand, whether that's using platforms such as TikToks or whether that's creating memes. I think we've become extremely inventive in the way that we approach peace, and the way also in which we engage. Technology is at the tip of our fingers, and we can utilize this amazing technology to come together and to strengthen each other's resources rather than working in silos. So I think that is one of the most biggest impacts that we can make towards peace in the future.